Hello, this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is another little video. This is the second week. It's the third video where I'm going to be talking about learning Procreate, and little Peter's with us again with his little baby. Peter and his little baby. So he's going to sit down here actually and look after his little baby. They're going to behave themselves. What we're going to do on this is I'm going to talk about the last week of studying Procreate, some of the things I've learned. I've got 3 videos, YouTube videos to share, which are brilliant. I love those videos. They're talking about custom brushes, the best default brushes, and also how to do split screening on the iPad. So I'm going to talk about those in a minute. We've got so much to talk about this week. It's been a brilliant week of studying. I've really enjoyed it, and I've been working through the book Beginner's Guide to Digital Painting in Procreate by 3D Total Publishing, and I have to say I'm still loving it. So last week we ended on page 35, and I've now got up to, well, I haven't got up that far really, but I've done a lot with the videos. So a couple of the days were spent actually on videos instead of the book, but I'm up to page 48. So what we're going to be looking at next week will be clipping masks, and then we're going to be moving into selections. But so what we're going to look on this one is blend modes, opacity and alpha lock. I love that. Working with layers, which is brilliant. It's amazing how easy it is to do complex things on the iPad, on Procreate. That's what I've noticed. Palettes, that's brilliant as well. Again, really simple to create custom palettes. It's amazing. And then you've got the different colour, what did they call them? Colour modes. And Quickshape. Now this is brilliant. We'll start with that in a minute. One of the overriding things for this week though has been a lot of the stuff in the book, they've actually added things to it. So there's now more colour modes. There's a new one called Harmony in the latest update. What else is it? Oh, they said something about if you're working with layers, they said if you delete a layer, you can only restore it straight away. But what they've done now is you could like create 50 layers after, and you can undo it. Well, I tested it with 10 layers. So I did 10 actions and I could still bring back the layer I deleted. So there's a lot of little things which I feel like they've updated since this book. And one of the things with that was actually the brush studio, because the brush studio has been completely revamped since this book. So what I'll do is I'll go through my little notes here and then we'll get through it. So one of the things I've noticed, last week I was struggling with moving this sidebar. So I was trying to like move it. What you got to do is you got to quick move it. Yeah, so before I was like trying to sort of do it like that, but you've actually got to quickly, and then you can, it's easy when you know how. Very much like working with these split screens. Again, last week I didn't know how to do it. So I've watched a video here, which I'll go over in a minute. All you've got to do is you just plop that there. Hey, I've never done that before. What you do is you get that. Here, wait a minute, it's easier with a pencil. How funny is this, look? You just drag it over there and plop. So now I've now got the full screen. If I want to make that big or small, I can do that. And if I want to get rid of it, you just do that. It's so easy when you know how. And then what's really cool is you can actually pop it on there, so it's overlapping. And you do that. And then what happens then is it's always accessible by doing that. But I prefer to see the only one I'm struggling. Here we go. I think it's that. Yeah, I still a little bit sort of got to get used to it, but it's so easy. It's amazing. So multitasking on this iPad is amazing, and I learned all this through this video here. What's it called? How to quit split screen on iPad multitasking. Yeah, by iCave Dave. I'll put links and everything in the description. But this video, I don't know if it's going to work because I haven't teed it up. I was going to do adverts, but this video was brilliant. The way he described it, he described it really it really made sense for me, because the thing I managed to get the app up there, but then I didn't know how to get rid of it. And all you got to do is just drag that across. So it's quite cool. This advert is still going. Here he is, look.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to get out of split screen mode on your iPad if you have got yourself stuck.
Not very loud, is it? He's cool. He makes Apple simple. So that was the first thing. That's how I started the week, basically. I was playing around with moving that sidebar, fine tuning the sliders. This is brilliant as well. So one of the things you can do is this. Hey, how did that end up over there? Look. One of the things you can do is you can like fine tune the thing of this. But what I noticed was it's like contact. What's the word? The closer you get, the more quicker. But if you move it right over here, look how slowly it moves up and down. I love that. And you can do that with all the sliders in Procreate. So that was cool. That video is brilliant though. So that was the first thing. Computer glasses as well. Yeah, I started wearing my computer glasses when I'm working on the iPad. So that was cool. Also, another thing I was struggling with, every time I clicked on one of these names with the Apple Pencil, it wasn't bringing up the keyboard. So I actually had to go into the settings and disable, what was it I did? I had to disable something, because it's scribbling, that's it. Some sort of scribbling option. I don't know if no I haven't. But there's an option to disable scribbling, because what it wanted was, it wanted me to write the word in with my pencil, but I don't like that. I like the keyboards. So I had to look into that as well. That was, again, easy when you know how. That's the thing, a lot of these things. What's this? Tap the pencil, could scribbling, could get addicted. Yeah, look, I could get addicted to creating brushes. And then I thought, is that a form of procrastination? Shame you can't add colour to Brush Studio Test Preview. So let's get into this little thing here. So this video here, again, another brilliant one. Procreate 5 Brush Studio Simplified. So this is by Ergo Josh. And look, he's brilliant. I can't believe how quiet this is today. But what he does is he basically goes through each option in the Brush Studio. I know why it's so quiet. It's coming out of my headphones. That's another thing. This week I started using these Bluetooth headphones because before I had been using my regular headphones, but I had wires going all over the desk. So what I did was I started using these Bluetooth ones, and it like freed up a bit of space. Hopefully it should be a bit louder now.
Now in order to make this tutorial a little bit more interesting, let's start out by creating our own brush. And in order to do that, we're going to need 2 things.
This video is 40 minutes long, but what I did was I actually worked through the whole thing, and I took notes on it as well. So some of the notes, what's some of the notes we took on this one? To create a brush you need 2 things, a brush shape and a brush grain. So he's basically going through how you can create your own brushes and all the options. And then what happened to me was, after doing that, I thought to myself, this is amazing, because I thought what I could do is I could take a photo of this like little Peter Penguin's baby's fur, and I could actually create a Peter the Penguin brush. How cool would that be? So when I'm drawing my little Peters, I could actually use a brush which is using the fur of Peter. So I can see how amazing this is, but I also thought I could be here for hours, weeks, playing around with this. And I thought what I actually want to do is I want to focus on like learning Procreate. So I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually focus on learning the brushes that come with the thing. So that what that is it's the default Procreate brushes. So I found another video by Lucas P in Pianador, and what he did was he went through his favourite brushes. here's another video here. I'll put this link in the description as well. So this is what are the best Procreate default brushes by Lucas P. Inador. Again, watch this, look. The way he talks is brilliant.
And this one has to be my favorite for that, and it's that chalk brush. It's just amazingly beautiful. It's just delicious. And I have to
delicious. How cool is that? So he's cool, he is. And what I've actually done is I've subscribed. No, I haven't. I have now though. I've subscribed to him, and I also subscribed to Ergo. No, I didn't. I thought I did. I must have subscribed to him. I subscribed to somebody. Let's subscribe to everyone. That's cool. But I like him. I like this guy here, Lucas. I think he's brilliant. And what he did was he went through like a load of. In his video, what he did was he tested out a load of brushes. So what I thought I'd do is, I basically copied all of these little drawings because I thought it's the best way for me to test out the brushes myself. And what I've ended up thinking is, I love this peppermint brush. What I've also done is I've created a brush set for Lucas, and I've put all the ones that he recommended inside of that. So I've started using this peppermint one all the time now. I think it's brilliant. What else did he do? He played around with these ones. So some little calligraphy, soft airbrush, and a spectra. So this was me copying these little drawings. What I found was, I thought it was fun. It was really fun doing that. This was a hard airbrush, charcoal block. And then he actually talked about this short hair, one of the touch-ups. Last week I thought, I don't know if I want to use that because I thought it would be like a form of cheating. But what he said was it's a good way to sort of quickly get a block of hair in. So you can sort of use this as to see what the drawing's going to look like. And then I think what I would do is I might do that and then put my own strokes in it as well. But something I found which is amazing, he talks about, what he does is he does his paintings, and at the very end he uses the noise touch-up brush to add a bit of texture to his skin. So I thought, how brilliant is that? This is some of the other stuff I've been doing this week. This week, actually, I think the best way to look at this is, so this was me playing around with my custom brush, because I created a custom brush, and what I wanted was I wanted it to be really wet. So this was me just playing around with it. We then got into these things called Quickshapes, I think they are. These are amazing. Actually, I've got to show you these. These little Quickshapes are cool. What you can do is, let's say that's a line, but what you can do is you can do that. Actually, watch this. See that, look? So what you can do is you can start creating like blocks, which is brilliant, but it works with everything. That's cool, that is. It's just one of those things that I thought, oh, I like that. And then I was also playing around with, oh yeah, because I was struggling with trying to get the line consistent. But there was a thing, this was me doing my little Peters, but trying to make the lines a bit cleaner by using the quick shape thing. And what I thought to myself is, you can use the quick shape to make mechanical objects, and then you can actually not use the quick shape for your little Peters and stuff. So that's me not using the quick shape. Well, I used it on his head to get it like it, and then I used it here. So I felt like, you could start sort of very quickly getting nice lines in the artwork. So again, I can see the potential of that. This is brilliant. This is me mum. So what I did was I took my iPad in with my mum. I was showing her what I was doing. She started playing around with it. She had a lot of cheese. She made some cheese and then a little mouse, which I thought was cool. And then she was also playing around with the colours. Look how sexy that brush is, look. Little strokes. So, and then this was me playing around with the default brushes. This was me doing some more quick shapes a couple days later, just to make sure I actually knew how to do it. This is cool. So what you can do here, you can actually drop colours into the thing. So look how cool does this look? You can drop the colour into that, And then what I noticed was, again, with this sliding thing, you can actually make it so that it's full, but that wasn't in the book. See, that's another thing. There's some little things that aren't in the book. But look at how easy is it to sort of fill things. It's brilliant. Then I started working with layers. So I was like playing around merging layers together. Then I just did a little Peter, just a little bit of practice. This was me using the peppermint brush, the peppermint pencil. And for the first time ever, I've started to be able to get a digital drawing look like me sketches. Me traditional. I'd say it's about 60% the same as me traditional. I've never done that before. It's always been about 30% or something. Then I was playing around with the alpha locking layers. Now this is amazing as well. What happens is my mind starts getting excited, because what you can do here is for instance, I could colour in one of these Peters, and then if I lock the layer, I can start sort of scribbling on top of him without going out the lines. So again, and it's so easy to do all these things. That's what I'm finding amazing. This was me playing around with the blending modes. So on the Surface Pro, the way I've always done me shadowing, which I called cell shading, I always did it with clipping masks, which I think that's how I do it. But I tried this other thing. They were talking about this thing called multiply layers, and I thought, oh, that's actually quite a good effect. So that's just changing the layer to a multiply blend. So again, I'm now starting to see different ways of doing the same thing, which is quite cool. Oh, now look how cool this is. What I did was I duplicated this one here. I duplicated it, and then I basically was able to, I'm going to show you something. This is cool, this is. Using the blend modes, look, using the blend modes, I could change the colour of the little Peter. And I thought, how cool is that effect? So I thought it would be quite, and then what I did over here was, I sort of thought to myself, I could create a completely grey, sketchy Peter the Penguin, and the bits of yellow, which is his beak, and his little feet, I could actually use a blend mode. So I started thinking of how I could get quite a cool effect. A bit like that film. You know that film where it's all black and white, apart from it's all grey, apart from little bits of red. I feel like this is a way you could do it, using these blend modes. But I've never ever used blend modes before. But again, how easy is it to change the blend modes? All you got to do is just, I don't know which one I had there. Wonder if I can get that back. But look how easy it is to change this is what I'm loving. Somehow this Procreate has got loads of things, loads of options at your fingertips. I feel like this might be the best user interface I've ever worked with. And then this was me doing a little Peter with me peppermint brush. So I'm starting to get really excited, because again, this is quite close to my sort of sketches in my traditional sketchbook. So that's probably the main thing I'm excited about at the minute. I thought what I'll do is, each week, as I'm learning something, if I learn a new gesture or something, what I'll do is I'll write it down as a quiz, so the next day when I come back, I've basically got to practice what I learnt yesterday before I look at anything to see if I have actually learnt it. So some of the things I had to learn was duplicating the brush sets, creating a new brush set. Basically some of it was like working with the brushes. Then I asked myself, can I do a quick shape? So I can, because that's the quick shape. So what this is, it's a good way of like repeating what you're learning to make sure you've actually learnt it, and it's fun as well. It's quite cool. Oh, palettes are brilliant. I love these palettes. All you got to do is just tap, and you got a new colour on your palette. Because that was something I've been thinking. How do I create a new bunch of palettes? So again, it's amazing how easy it is. Oh, and then grouping layers. So this one I'm still a little bit rough around the edges, I suppose. But again, it is very easy to do it. So all you got to do is that, and you can group your layers. And if you pinch it, you've merged them into one. How easy is that again? So these complex things can be done so quickly. What's happening is I'm starting to think to myself, pretty soon I'm going to be whizzing around here doing really, like on the Surface Pro, this would take a lot longer to do these things. And it's all at your fingertips, that's what's amazing me. What else have we got here? Look, working with the alpha layer. Oh, this is another thing as well. So on the in the book they said, what was it? You had to, well, that's the opacity, like doing that. Yeah, what was the other one? It was a double tap slide like that. So that changes it into an alpha lock layer, but I don't like that because I feel like it's a bit inconsistent. What I noticed is if you click on it, you've got an option there to do alpha lock. So I'm going to do it like that because I feel like that's a bit more consistent, but they didn't mention that in the book. So I wondered, is it possible that that's a new update that hasn't, and that's a couple of things now that's not been in the book. But what's amazing is everything is in the book. So what I mean is, like, all the basics are in the book. It's just little bits of extras that have been added, I suppose, with these updates. Oh, and then what I also thought was, so when you're creating your brushes, he was talking about how when you're creating your brushes, where is it? I created one somewhere. Well, here, this one. I was playing. What you do is, you can actually import. You can import and here, somewhere around here. Import. You can import your shapes and stuff, and you can also do it with your grain, which he basically says is your texture. So that's the texture of your brush. I started thinking, all these Imagine FX magazines that come with the DVDs, I've got probably about 1,000 different textures on those Imagine FX magazines. I could start making brushes out of those. So that's another thing. I thought, oh, I got excited about that. Then I was thinking about creating a lilDENNiS brush, which I thought would be cool. Drawing Pride, what have we got here? Oh, also there's this thing here, look. I'll put a link in the description as well. So on that video there, when he was talking about creating brushes, he actually spoke about this thing, the Brush Studio Handbook, well, the Procreate Handbook. You can actually just get it like that. I haven't looked yet to see if you can get it as a PDF, but this one here, it basically goes into proper detail on everything. So if there's anything I'm working on and I think I need a, because in this book, some of the things, I feel like sometimes I think, oh, I wish I had a little bit more understanding of something. Well, if I go into this, I can actually like properly understand it, because you can't put all of that into a book, into an art book. So I feel like that's a good little thing to have by your side as well. It's quite cool. What have we got here? Oh, the full screen gradient in last week's video, when I messed it up. What is it? Let's see if I can do it now. I'm not sure. Soft brush, it needs to be, it might be that. Basically what you did was something like that, was it? No. It was something like doing like this. Oh, that's it, look. See? You can do like a full screen, but the brush has got to be maximum. What happened was I'd selected a brush which didn't have the maximum setting. But look, again, that's a nice way to get an easy, and then what I started thinking is if you combine that with alpha, let's have a go and see if that's, because what I'm thinking is you might actually be able to do something really quite cool here. You might be able to, let's say I want that ball, I don't know if that's going to work. Let's do it. Let's say I want this ball to have a gradient. Let's see if I can do that. Because what I'm thinking is you might be able to, yeah, if we go that one. Let's have a look, see if that works. No. Oh, it's only going to go on the bink thing, isn't it? Wait a minute. If I put that in there, if I then go over here, because what I'm thinking is you might be able to create a gradient on the fly. Yeah, I think you would, but you'd have to make the brush a bit. Yeah. See, so that's what I mean. You start getting excited now because you can see how you can, putting all these things together, you're going to be able to create quite complex things very quickly. It's cool. What else? Easy to get, yeah, it's easy to get distracted by making brushes, and that's why I decided I'm not going to focus on making brushes. Oh, there was something else in that video as well. I recommend watching that video. He talks about it's possible to create a rainbow brush. So basically, every time you touch the canvas, it's going to do a different colour. Which I thought, how cool would that be? If you did that with fur or something, you could like create a little creature with multicoloured fur. Which I love that. Again, all these things that are putting in my head, and I'm sort of, hopefully I'll be able to pull them out later. What else have we got here? Look. Custom brushes, need to know what you want to achieve. Yeah, he basically said, when you're creating a custom brush, you've got to know what you're trying to achieve. Otherwise you're going to be there all day playing around. And that's the thing, at the moment, I don't really know what I want to do, because I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. So I still feel like this book shouldn't have put the custom brushes right at the start, because I feel like I could quite easily have got distracted by that. I would have put it at the end. That's what I think. Let's put little baby, wet mix. Well, there's a lot about the custom brushes over there. What, so the next day? No, this was the same day. Apple settings. Oh, here we go. Look. To turn off the scribbling thing, the settings is Apple Pencil scribbling's off. It was on by default. So every time I tried to click on any of the titles or anything, like if I tried to change the name of that, if I tried to do it that, it would want me to write in it, which I don't like that. I'd rather do it like that, because again, I feel like that's a bit more precise. Look at this. This is one of the quotes from Ergo Josh's video. He says, "You don't get to be good at it," which is creating custom brushes. "You don't get to be good at it by knowing exactly what they do, which is each of the attributes. You get to be good at it by testing and testing and testing." I love that. It's almost like a form of playing. So I decided custom brushes are in my future. I need to know what I need by first paint. Yeah, I need to know what I need by first painting before creating brushes. But I'm excited because I can see their potential. Quickshape. I thought, when I first heard about Quickshape, I thought, is this like Clip Studio Paint's vector points? Because in Clip Studio Paint, I haven't found out how to do this yet, but in Clip Studio Paint, I don't want this one. In Clip Studio Paint, what I could do is, I could like create that, and then I could actually go into, the whole line was turned into loads and loads of dots, and I could independently sort of play with these little dots to sort of change the shape of the shape, but I can't do that here. And I thought that this this thing here, which lets you sort of play with the shape, I thought that was going to do it, but it doesn't. But I'm hoping there's a way. I'm hoping these are vectors. I'm hoping that these shapes are vectors so that I can actually play with them, because that's one of the ways I do my little Sophies. I like playing with the vector shapes. What else have we got? Oh yeah, these Quickshapes are a game changer, because look how I can be sat here. I can be sat here like drawing something, and then I'll suddenly think, oh, I need a straight line. I can just go like that, and I've got a straight line which I can fully manipulate. So I thought, this is amazing, because in something else you'd have to go over here and click on the straight line and then draw it. But you don't, so you can, on the fly, change from doing organic things to mechanical things. And it also works with like these, what I noticed was a good way for me to do it was like to do that, because I noticed that I got a consistent line. Whereas if I do it like that, look, you can see it has a bit of a thing on it. Whereas over here, it's a consistent. So what I've started doing is, if I'm doing a thing, I'll do it like that. Well, that one didn't work very well. But normally, I think Yeah, it's a bit rough around the edges for me, that. But I like it. It's a good way to do, like they said, a quick shape. Oh, cool, look at that. It's got 2 lines in one there, look. How cool does that look? Doing. What else have we got here? Yeah, for me, that quick shape is a game changer. It's all been done on the fly. Yeah, like last week's copy and paste menu. Again, that copy and paste menu, you do that, you've got your copy and paste menu. Like I said, you've got access to lots of things very quickly, but you've got to learn the gestures. And what I love about this book is, it's bringing everything in very slowly, like gradually. It's not bombarding you with things. So that's a good thing, I think. Each page is sort of about one thing, so you can really learn it. And I think this is where this quiz comes in. Where's my little quizzes gone? But these little quizzes are a good way of learning the gestures and things. But what I do is I do it multiple times, make sure I actually know what I'm doing. I wonder what that noise was. I've never heard that before. So the next one, this was on the 10th of August. I started talking about YouTube. Well, this is when I looked into the best default Procreate brushes. iPad stand. So as I've started using this more and more, I'm now thinking, do I want a stand? Because I want to sit here and be able to access this thing here. But I don't want to be just holding it like that because it's going to hurt my arm. So I'm thinking I feel like, is there some sort of stand you can get where it's... I think that's one of the things at the minute, is trying to work out the ergonomics of this, using this thing. Because with a sketchbook, I'm so used to just sitting there and I can do it, but this doesn't quite feel natural at the minute. So that's one of the things. Oh, pillow and music. So what I did was, what I ended up doing was I put a pillow on my desk so I could rest my arm on it. So that was a comfort, and I had music blasting in my ears. And in that moment, I felt like this is life. I was there drawing, music, and I felt comfortable. I was listening to Above and Beyond. I've also, what I've done is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, I've actually put an extension lead I've wrapped it around the desk, so if I need to charge the iPad up, I've got quick access to me cable. So I'm actually I'm gonna nail that to the wall over here. So what it means is I'm gonna have my cable all the time accessible. So if I'm in the middle of drawing, I haven't got to get up and start trying to find the cable. It's just gonna be, all I've got to do is reach over here and grab it. So again, it's another little sort of time-saving thing. But it's things like this you don't notice or realise you're going to need it until you're in the middle of it. Because what was happening was, I was in the middle of doing a drawing and the battery started to go, and so I had to go and find the charger, which took me out of the experience of it. Yeah, the peppermint is my favourite. So look, I've put here about the brushes. I said instead of making them for now, I'd rather pick my favourite default brushes, so I can focus on learning how to use Procreate and not how to create brushes. I think this was all my notes from this past week. So the dark blue ones are from videos, and then the light blue's from the book. So, yeah, that was cool as well. So yeah, we started talking about colour in a minute. I think that's enough for that one. Quick flip and hold equals reposition the sidebar. That was when I finally worked out how to move the sidebar about. You can import colour palettes. When I heard that, I was amazing, because I thought, if I'm, let's say I'm online and I see a painting of somebody, I might be able to ask the artist, is it possible to have your colours? So you might actually be able to like get these colour palettes. So how amazing is that? In that moment, you wouldn't even have to worry about selecting colours. You just have and the other thing is, maybe you can even, I haven't looked yet, but maybe online there's like bunches of colour palettes you can get. It's amazing. The book doesn't include harmony colour mode. So if you go into the colour modes, there's one called Harmony, which is actually my favourite. Because what happens is you pick your colour, and look, you get the Harmony one over there. But that must be a new one added with the updates. Because that one wasn't in the book. What else have we got? Look. Workmen. Oh yeah, there's workmen outside. But I was listening to me white noise. So what I've got is I've got this white noise. This is where my headphones come in as well. I blast it out really loud. I talked about this last week on the last video. But I have this white noise. 15 hours. It's amazing how that helps with the focus. So I had these workmen outside drilling and banging, which was really loud. I couldn't hear nothing. I was able to focus. I've also started closing my window, the blinds, the curtains, because it was actually reflecting off the paper. That's one little thing. I prefer matte paper, because what happens is, look, you see, you get reflections. It was sort of distracting me a little bit. So I've noticed that I prefer matte paper from the art books. It's quite cool. Palettes needs to be done. Reading isn't enough, you need to do it. Yeah, so what happened was I was in this book reading about palettes, and it was explaining how to create your own palettes and create your own little thingies down there, little squares, but I didn't understand it. As soon as I picked up the iPad and started playing with it, it made so much sense. So I feel like, again, as I talked about last week, this book, you've really got to sort of read it and then do it yourself. And I would say now it's even more. Last week I thought it was about 60-40. I would say now it's about 70-30. You're spending about 70% in the iPad, 30% in the book, which I love it. I think it's brilliant. There's a really nice balance going on here between like learning and actually practicing what you've been learning. These are all the other notes that I took. I'm just onto the layers bit at the minute. What else is in here? Look. So I've got all of these brushes. This is all of the brushes that Lucas recommends on his video. And this is all the things he said about it. But my favourites is actually the peppermint one. I think that could end up being my all-time favourite. The soft brush, I started to see the potential of that one. Oh, and these two here as well. I haven't really played with that noise one, but the short hair, I could see how easy it would be to create hair. But again, I do think to myself, would I be satisfied with a drawing where all the hair was created with a brush like that? I'd rather do it myself. I think I'd be more satisfied if I did each of the individual hairs. But I don't know if that would be sort of a silly thing to do when you can do it like that. So I'm still a bit thingy about that one. I've learnt a lot here, but it's so simple. How cool is that, look? What's this? I don't know. Oh, I had this slight sensation during, it must have been around about this bit. I had this slight sensation of wanting to rush through the book. And one of the things I say is, when you rush, you delay. So I could quite easily go through this book and just very easily be over here already if I was like rushing, but I know I wouldn't be taking it in. So I feel like the importance of slowing down when you're studying is amazing. But I did have this feeling of I just want to get into drawing. I want to get to the bit when you're actually going to be painting and drawing things, like little characters. I can't wait to do this one. It's going to be cool. So I had to sort of remind myself it's much better to take it slow. What else have we got here? Select multiple layers, slide to the right. Yeah, this is the thing. So selecting these multiple layers, you do that. I would never ever have worked that out myself. I don't feel like I would have. Maybe I would have. But I don't think I would have. So but how simple is it? So whoever come up with the gestures in these interfaces is a genius, I think. That interface, I reckon, has been worked on for quite a long time. It's cool. What's this here? Look. Oh, dangerous. Dangerous to merge layers. Yeah, look, the thing with this is, look. So what happens is, if you merge those layers into a single layer, what happens is it will flatten them. So you're gonna lose each of the individual layers. But the thing with this is, look, it never asked you. It never asked you if you wanted to do that. So I feel like there should be a confirmation there. It should say, are you sure you want to flatten these images? That was basically it. Yeah, see, look, I would never have worked that out, but again, super intuitive. So then we move on to today, which is the 13th of August, Friday the 13th. Dun, da, da. Yeah, what I've put, look, can now, yeah, so in the book, what are they talking about? Oh, he's cool, isn't he? What cool character, what a funny little character that one is. They were talking about deleting. And look, what they said in the book was, delete will remove the layer. A layer can be restored if you tap undo immediately afterwards, but if not, there is no way of reinstalling it. But I don't know whether they meant this, but look, if I delete that layer, so I've deleted that layer, if I go into another layer, and start playing around, see, I've managed to get the layers back that I just deleted. But it actually said that, so I don't know whether that's another thing that's changed. But that's about the third or fourth thing now, little things. So I wonder whether they're going to make a revision to this book with some of the things. What else? Oh, the colour drop. Oh, I missed that. That colour drop is brilliant. That's where you just plop the colour into the canvas. I don't know what's happened there, but look, pop. It's cool. Alpha lock is 2 fingers slide to the right, but yeah, but I don't like it. I feel like that's a bit too inconsistent, and also there's no way of really knowing whether you've done it or not. It's like very hard for me to tell whether I've done it. But if I click on that and do that, I know I've done it. That's another little thing. So that's an instance where I feel like the gestures is not the way I would do it. But I like that. I like the fact that you can do the same thing different ways. Because some people were going to love that gesture. Some people would rather click or tap. I've also put here, look, food is a distraction. I started eating lots of peanuts. And what was happening was I found myself constantly getting me peanuts instead of like learning. So I ended up hiding the peanuts. It's quite cool. Alpha lock equals potential. Yeah, I've never heard. So before today, I'd never heard of alpha lock. I had no idea what it was. But what's cool is, what you can do is, well, in all of these little articles that I've been studying, they're always talking about the importance of silhouettes. So what I thought is, and they said it in here as well, you could, if you've got an amazing silhouette, you could basically alpha lock that silhouette and then work on top of it. So what's going to happen there is, you're going to always have that cool silhouette. You're never going to lose your silhouette, but you can start adding loads of detail, but it still keep this simple shape, the sexy shape as well with the silhouette. So again, I can start seeing the possibilities here with this alpha lock. What else? Playing with blend modes out of context is confusing. So I feel like this is what I've actually said here. I feel like I need to watch a blend modes tutorial video. So in this video, in this book, they do talk about all of the little blend modes, but I feel like just reading about the blend mode, I'm sometimes some of these I was a bit more confused than I was before. And then when I went into the layer and started trying to mess about with the blend modes, again I couldn't really work out what was actually happening. So I feel like what I need is a video where somebody's actually saying to me, where somebody actually goes through each of these little blend modes and really explains what's happening with real-time examples. Because I feel like blend modes isn't something you can actually properly describe in a book. And if you don't really know what it's doing, you can move it about and say, oh, that looks cool. So I might think, oh, I'm going to use that one. Or I might think I'm going to use that one. But I don't really know what it's doing. So like next time, I don't know what it's going to do. Whereas if I know what that's actually doing, next time I might be in a situation where I think to myself, I know what I do, I'm going to use this one because it will do what I want. So that's another little thing. What else have we got here? I think that's it really. Yeah, look, I've said I think it's better to watch a video for these blend modes. And then this is where we got to. So on Sunday, I'm going to be going through this lot here. So we've got a few little things about extra layer options, masks and clipping masks. I love clipping masks. In Clip Studio Paint Pro, on the Surface Pro, I'm always using clipping masks, because what I do is I do like shell shading with the clipping masks. So I'm excited to see how this works with Procreate. Hopefully it'll be nice and simple, because the thing is everything else has been. But the first thing I'm going to do on Sunday, I might actually do it tomorrow, is I'm gonna watch a video talking about blend modes and take notes as well, and hopefully I'll be able to sort of understand it, because I put the blend mode section in the book, confuses me a bit. I need to see a good way of test this out. Because yeah, they also talked about something called the glazing. Where is it? Look, overlay is the most frequently used mode. It can be used to glaze a colour, changing the mood of an entire painting. But they didn't have any visual. Well, that one did. Some of these they didn't actually have a photo of it. Look, like screen. Lighten. Again, I just think that is not really a good thing to be talking about in a book. But the thing I said is blend modes are cool, because what I did was I played around with it myself with these little Peters, and I just thought, how cool is this? Look, I can actually turn little Peter into little blue. Look, and you can look how cool look at the cool effects you can get. So maybe that is what I would use blend modes for, is I'd just use it to play around and see what happens, because that's quite a cool effect. I quite like that one as well. So it is fun, but I would like to know what it's actually doing. I'm going to leave it on that screen one, I think. It's quite cool. And I think that might be it. Oh yeah, because what I thought was, maybe blend modes will be something I use for finishing touches. Like it might be I've got like, because I thought it might be possible to say, do your little drawing, and then at the end, duplicate the layer, and well, what I'll do is I'd flatten the whole thing, duplicate it, and maybe I could sort of mess about with these blend modes to create some sort of strange effects and stuff. So maybe that's it. But well, that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that. I've got my little pens here. Oh, I didn't talk about this as well. These have been lifesavers for me throughout the years. What I do is, if I'm sitting on my desk with my elbows like that, what will happen is after about a couple minutes it will start to hurt. So what I do is I put this little bit of sponge here. I put me out, and I can sit like that for hours. So if I can sit like, what I do is if I'm writing, I like that. And also what I do is I put it on the edge of the desk, so like that sometimes, so that, because otherwise that sort of like digs into me arm. So, but I normally have it on the desk like that. So it's cool, it is. But again, look, little thing like that just makes your life a lot more pleasant. And that's basically it for this one. Little Peter is very quiet. I think we've got to name this little baby. So if you've got a name for little Peter's baby, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you've got a video to recommend about these blend modes or anything, please let me know. But other than that, I'll see you next time. When will it be? Sunday, Wednesday. It'll be next Wednesday. See you for another one.